20 most brutal hits in NFL history. We all seen some crazy hits, man. We all seen some crazy hits when it came to football. But have you seen the most brutal hits ever? I don't think you have. So me and you finna watch them together. Shout out Red Zone. Go show them some love. This is a month ago, but hit the sub button. Show some love. Tell me down below your favorite NFL team. You're not a Seahawks fan. You might well not even comment. Seahawks all day. You know what I'm saying? But show some love. Tell me down below your NFL team. Let's get into it.
Getting laid out.
And then tell me your favorite player of all time. I'm not gonna lie. And this might be crazy coming from like me. I don't know. Because you got players like, super players, Superman players. Like, I don't know who I would say my favorite all the time. I really don't know. Because I got so many favorites. I don't know.
Out in the Super Bowl, one player even needed life-saving CPR. These are the 25 most brutal hits in NFL history.
25? I thought they said 20.
And for number 25, one hit sends both sidelines into pure pandemonium.
Left foot. And again, Grant trying to feel the punt got crushed. This time the ball didn't get to him.
Oh, that ain't cool, dog. Kids are watching. But neither is number 24. The time a punter transformed.
I'm not gonna lie, my nigga. I seen worse hits on a. Nah, that hit wasn't on it.
Into a human punching bag.
It's John Ryan, and I mean the Red Sea parted, and he almost lost the ball. Might be hurt as well.
Bruh, you're up 21 points in the fourth. What are you doing? But imagine getting hit so hard, you end up in the hospital.
Up the middle screen to Adams. Ooh, he got popped in the face. Oh my! Mouth guard comes out, and they're out.
All right, that was a little. Now we getting brutal. Now we getting up there. I ain't gonna lie. That made me shake a little bit.
Asking for help right away.
Dang, that hit nearly gave Davante Adams CTE. Which reminds me, Emmanuel Sanders also had a close call. During a showdown between the Rams and Broncos, Peyton Manning-led Broncos were marching down the field. But just as their offense was finally starting to click, tragedy unfolded before their very eyes.
Separation. Oh, big hit, Sanders.
Now McLeod came over, and they're going to say he hit a defenseless receiver.
Sheesh. Bro didn't see that coming. Just like Eagle fans didn't see this coming.
It's over the middle. Oh, my goodness. Lenore with an unbelievable hit.
That was a hit.
That hit was cold-blooded. The 49ers-Eagle beef has gone too far. But in 2019, the NFL was a completely different world. The 49ers didn't have Brock Purdy, and the Eagles didn't have Jalen Hurts. Instead, we lived in a world where Josh Rosen was a starting quarterback, and his top target wasn't Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. It was Allen Hurns. However, everything changed in Week 3 once this happened.
The opening touchdown. Watch the collision here. It's Allen Hurns.
Send my boy for death.
By Jeff Heath.
Come on, I expect more from America's team. That said, the Dallas Cowboys aren't the only ones with a trick up their sleeve. You may think you have people figured out, but Rob Gronkowski is proving.
This is easily one of my top 10 best players of all time. Gronk, I just love everything about how his whole style of play just tough.
The exact opposite could be true. He's not one you might think.
Tugs him there,
and
then he's still holding him, and then still pushes him, but no penalty flag. Gronk gets up and jams his shoulder.
If Gronk is taking cheap shots, that's how you know the rivalry runs deep. And while the Patriots and Bills can't stand each other, they're not the only ones with bad blood.
Finds the open man. You're talking about Kelsey. He gets down at the tube. Did the ball come out?
Dang, Derwin James went into straight-up WWE mode. It's a good thing Travis Kelce was able to shake it off. But it's a lot harder to shake off the pain when 3 guys are banging you at the same time.
We're not going to call a pause on that. Pause.
Curly gets sandwiched and he loses a helmet.
Unnecessary record defense.
Hey, yo, if I ended up in a Bucs sandwich, I'd have a hard time getting up to. Yet, what if I told you that Derrick Henry has as much strength in one hand as those last 3 players combined?
He almost got the jump. Yes, he did. He gives it to Henry.
That's crazy.
Imagine getting embarrassed on national television. That's enough to mess with a man's psyche. But next up, find out what happens when a human freight train collides with one of the fastest men on the planet.
Damn. Oh my.
Don't worry, Goodman. Barry Allen couldn't have avoided that hit either. Now, it's already bad enough getting blasted by another man, but it's even worse when you lose the football in the process.
Oh, ball's up in the air. And it's intercepted off the deflection.
First the hit, and the fumble, then the interception. You can't make this stuff up. And also, you can't make up our 13th moment either. In just a few seconds, Robbie Anderson went from picking up the first down to lying on the ground in pain all by himself.
Robbie over the middle, and it is Robbie Anderson. Oh, what a hit. Oh, my goodness. Eric Harris blasting the ball out of the hands of Robbie Anderson, who stays down.
Ouch! I thought leaving the Jets was supposed to help players. While Robbie Anderson lives to see another day, not all players are as lucky. Because in 2022, all eyes were on Monday Night Football, watching the Bills and Titans. But not because it was a thrilling football game. See, there are moments bigger than football, especially when an ambulance comes rushing onto the field.
Steps and fires, and it's caught. It's Burks, and there's an injured player down for Buffalo.
Dane was a little bit of a victim of friendly fire right there from Edwards. He came in at the end, and you see his head just get driven backwards.
It's a very emotional scene down here as all the Bills players were gathered around as they were putting Dane Jackson on the ambulances.
Thankfully, Dane Jackson is back to where he belongs, the gridiron. But if anyone can understand what it's like to have the game taken away from you, it's Chris Godwin. This dude had it all. He was one of the game's best receivers, receiving passes from the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady. However, none of that mattered to the Saints. Tearing your ACL sucks, but at least the Super Bowl ring is a good consolation prize. This takes us to the top 10, where the hits get harder and the pain grows deeper. Because coming up, it's the 2023 moment that had the entire world sending prayers. But first, we gotta talk about two of the league's biggest divas, OBJ and Josh Norman. And in 2015, both players were playing the best football of their career. OBJ was a year removed from his infamous gravity-defying one-hand catch against the Dallas Cowboys, whereas Norman's spectacular coverage skills had turned the Panthers into a Super Bowl contender. So what happens when you pit one of the league's top receivers against one of the league's top cornerbacks?
Giants are thinking about what could have been, and here's what was going on after that run a moment ago.
This man, Josh Norman, tried to show OBJ who was boss, but OBJ wasn't able to swallow his pride and let Norman have his way.
Now, watching the back and forth between Josh Norman and Odell Beckham after the play, and when Josh Norman came over to the sideline
for an entire game, these two players are at each other's throats. OBJ alone was responsible for 4 penalties, 3 of which were personal fouls. It's a miracle neither player was ejected from the game, especially after this massive collision.
To stay upright and picks up a first down. There's Beckham again. What is going on?
Bro straight up tried to end this man's career, so it shouldn't come as a surprise that Norman wasn't a fan.
What he did obviously is on display. You can see what kind of player he is, and you pull back the layers of skin and you really see what it is. Film don't lie.
It's safe to say, these dudes are never becoming friends. And neither are Wes Welker and Ryan Clark. Because in the late 2000s, the Steelers and Patriots were the worst of enemies. That's when Ryan Clark made a hit that sent every Patriots fan into a frenzy.
3rd and 7 over the middle. And Ryan Clark laid out Wes Welker.
Wow. My man was taking no prisoners. But for as painful as that hit appeared, it's nothing compared to what Reggie Bush experienced.
Lines up as the tailback. Reeves swings it out. The ball is knocked away. And a crunching hit put on by Sheldon Brown. And Bush takes a while to get up.
Nigga, that's one of them hits to change your life. How do we have so much time left?
And now goes down again.
Man, I wouldn't even wish that on my worst enemy, which is ironic because in Super Bowl 52, the Eagles hated the Patriots with a passion. For 60 minutes straight, they were each other's worst enemies. But in the second quarter, things were able to get way more personal.
Deep downfield, wide open, Brandon Cooks. And he gets smacked down at the 40-yard line, taking some shot there by Jenkins.
With emotions riding at an all-time high, Malcolm Jenkins just delivered the biggest hit of his career. It's a shame Brandon Cooks wasn't able to finish the most important game of his career. But when you're playing against Patrick Willis, finishing the game becomes a luxury.
Still one of the hardest hits I ever seen. I promise you, I swore I knew he broke his back when he got hit like this.
Finishing the game becomes a luxury.
Oh, what a hit. Look out. Brad Smith. My goodness. I'm not sure about this one. That was Patrick Willis who hit him high. Michael Lewis had him down low.
Either Brad Smith is a contortionist or this dude ain't okay. Now, we've seen what Patrick Willis can do, but imagine that hit times 10. Because in the 2006 Pro Bowl, when everyone was going at half speed, Sean Taylor was a man on a mission. That's when the unthinkable happened.
The run, and he's going to come up short.
I don't know if it was a fake. It might be he just decided to run with it, but Sean Taylor came from about 30 yards back.
The hit was cold, but the celebration was below freezing. Although it's got nothing on what we saw this season from Damontae Kazee. Because against the Colts, Kazee delivered a hit so ruthless and so powerful that the NFL suspended him for the rest of the season. Now, I expected a lot of sympathy towards Mike Pittman, but the one thing that I definitely wasn't expecting was the GOAT to get involved.
Nobody likes seeing players get hurt, but hard hits happen. QBs should not be throwing the ball in areas where they are exposing their teammates to these types of hits. Coaches need to coach better. Qs need to read coverages and throw the ball to the right places, and defenders should aim for the right hitting areas. To put the blame on the defense player all the time is just flat out wrong. Need better QB play.
Hold up, does Tom Brady have a point? I mean, Gardner Minshew put Michael Pittman in a dangerous position. And it wasn't just Brady who had Kazee's back, because when Mike Tomlin chimes in on the situation, everyone listens.
You know, usually I talk about lowering the target. The target was low and both guys were going. It was just unfortunate. I know he is not a dirty player. He doesn't aspire to do some of the things. Sometimes it's just, you know, professional football today and how difficult it is to operate.
In the end, the NFL upheld their suspension, but that doesn't mean the situation is cut and dry. So let us know in the comments, did Kazee cross the line? Or is this an example of wrong place at the wrong time? However, our third moment isn't subjective, it's straight up evil.
Flacco rolling and running, and he's going to have to, not the ball comes out, helmet's off. Watch this, Joe with a good run, slides.
You hate to see any quarterback, let alone Joe Flacco, absorb such a punishing blow. But that doesn't mean that Kiko Alonso is feeling any less guilty about the situation.
Like I said, it's a bang play. I hope he's all right. I thought maybe if he slid a second sooner, I was anticipating him to slide and I was going to not hit him. But I think it was like, second late, which is why I hit him.
Kiko Alonso may have not felt shame about the situation, but that doesn't mean he was in the clear yet. Because once Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman voiced their opinions, they got everyone talking.
I think he should be fined. I think he should be fined because you have to send a message that the quarterbacks are going to be protected at all costs. But I didn't think that the hit was as egregious as Ravens players tried to make it out to be. Was it a little late? Probably so. But I thought that when Flacco slid, I thought he slid a little bit too late.
So it's not a foul if it's unintentional because they do it simultaneously, right? Like Flacco slid late and Kiko Alonso had already launched.
That said, there's one thing that Stephen A. Smith forgot to mention: the score. That's right, Kiko Alonso's team didn't win. Far from it. The Ravens wound up winning 40-0, which is why, as crazy as this hit was, the NFL only fined Alonso a mere $9,000. But for number 2, Vontaze Burfict picked a war with Antonio Brown. It all started—
I don't got $9,000, but that's not bad.
In the 2016 playoffs, when Burfict leveled out AB in the most vicious way possible.
Oh, a flag does come
to the head. Lewis Harris is going to be flagged for this on the hit on Antonio Brown, and it's going to put...
It's highly possible that this hit alone gave AB CTE. Not to mention, it also ended the Bengals season. You'd think that'd be enough to stop Burfict from any future drama. You'd be thinking incorrectly.
Roethlisberger fires it to Antonio Brown. 4 defenders in the area. And Brown is down.
The first hit is already enough to raise some red flags. Although Burfict decided to take things a step further the second time, he made the mistake of telling Juju Smith-Schuster his next.
The peel back block, and that's ridiculous. You know, you spend a lot of time on education on what's legal and what isn't.
Mess with TikTok boy, and you're going to pay the price. But for as much as Vontaze Burfict hates the Steelers, he'll even admit he loves the game more. So for the game to be taken away from someone, no one wants to see that happen. Although on January 2nd, 2023, chances of Damar Hamlin ever playing again were next to impossible. The hit was painful, but few people realized what was really happening. Upon impact, Hamlin had suffered something called commodio cordis. See, commodio cordis is a very rare condition that occurs when the heart's rhythm is interrupted by a blow to the chest during a specific 40 millisecond time frame. Yes, you heard that right. A specific 40 millisecond time frame. The odds of that happening are next to none. But now, the Bills medical staff were forced to respond to the impossible.
Welcome back to Cincinnati, where medical personnel have been working on Bills safety Damar Hamlin for the last 9 minutes.
If not treated within 3 minutes, Hamlin's condition was 97% fatal. Thankfully, the medical staff stepped up to the plate. They were able to administer CPR and AED, and the 25-year-old would survive the night. But at the time, neither team knew this to be the case.
So as our team made it on the field and you could see the reaction of the players that were out there and how they were impacted, mostly their guys, a couple of our guys, you could quickly see the seriousness of the nature, that it was different than anything we'd experienced. And during those moments, all everyone's hoping for is the best case scenario with Damar. No one's processing whether this game is going to be played or delayed. That's not going through anyone's mind.
Zac Taylor knew this wasn't your typical situation, causing the Bills and Bengals to do something unexpected. They stopped playing. The game was canceled. Stefon Diggs will tell you that it was a situation he'll never forget.
I remember vividly, it kind of happened right in front of my face, because typically sometimes I get off the bench to support the defense. So I'm looking, and the way it kind of happened so fast, he fell, and the guys that were behind me, like, I thought somebody pushed him, and he just like you flop or you go on the ground. But then he didn't move. So when you were up close and personal with it, it's something that I don't wish on anybody.
After all of this, the craziest part of it all is that Damar Hamlin is still going strong.
How are you feeling before the game and when you were out there? Normal?
Super normal, feeling great.
Denny Kellington, he came out and administered CPR to you, alerted everyone else that the situation was pretty serious.
I owe Denny my life, literally. You know, he loves to say he was just doing his job. That's something I'm truly thankful for, and I don't take for granted.
None of which would have been possible if it weren't for the Bills training staff.
Please welcome this year's recipient of the Pat Tillman Award for Service, the training staff of the Buffalo Bills.
If there is one thing we hope you take away from this tonight, learn CPR and how to use an AED, because they save lives. Set a goal for yourself. Do it this summer before football season. You don't have to be perfect. We always say, doing something is better than doing nothing.
Yes, sir.
This goes to...
Okay, I didn't even think I was going... God dang. Alright. Try to show some love, man. Hit that sub button. Do try to because more videos coming soon. You ain't sub, you ain't right. You ain't right till you left in the dust. Tell me down below, out of all of these hits, which one do you feel like is the worst one? Not including the last one, because that's technically the worst one, but not including that one. Any other hit? I ain't gonna lie. Hey, man. I don't know. Personally, I don't want to get hit like this. None of these, you know what I'm saying? But y'all show some love. Hit that sub button. Tell me down below your favorite football team or your favorite player. Doesn't matter. We on to the next video.